So I thought it was overall a pretty good week for us. Certainly, anytime you go out and compete, you'd like to win the football game. It was a great look at a lot of our younger players versus some of their starters, and I thought our guys went out there, competed hard, but we made way too many mistakes to win the football game, and we're always trying to win here.
What'd you like best about what Kurt showed you out there?
Yeah, I thought Kurt did a nice job. He showed good command. Certainly, there were a couple plays that I know he'd like to have back. Obviously, the interception, and we got to make sure he's doing a good job of pushing away from center because he got stepped on a couple times. But I thought overall, his ability to hang in the pocket, progress, make some off-schedule plays on that first drive. That was a big-time throw and catch. I thought Malik Taylor showed up and did some really nice things. I thought our offensive line was much improved. Our run game was so much better. I thought all the backs that were in there, I thought they ran hard. They ran behind their pads. It felt like they were finishing forward. Certainly can never fumble the football like that, but all in all, I thought it was a much better performance, at least in the first half offensively.
Matt, what was supposed to happen on the interception?
Well, we were calling a play for single high defense, and they played a two high defense, and we got to our check down pretty quickly. I think it just got away from them. The back was running an angle route out of the backfield, and I think he just kind of airmailed it a little bit, and the corner made the play.
How much do you feel his rollout and connection to Malik and your decision to challenge it had to do with getting him going for the day and getting things started on the game?
Yeah, no, that happened right in front of me, and the official thought he bobbled the football. Well, I could clearly tell because it was right in front of me that he did not bobble the football. I had a much better vantage point for it. The official was kind of shielded from him, so I don't, fault him for that. But, it was more or less just did he get that toe drag? I want to say it was his right foot, and it just judging from the replay, we felt like he had done that and possessed the football.
But do you think getting that really jump-started his day?
Oh, absolutely. I think anytime you look at all the drives where points were on either side of the football, typically there's an explosive play involved with that. So anytime you can get a big explosive like that, you got a much better opportunity of scoring points.
Well, typically you don't end up scoring on a drive where your quarterback falls down twice, though. What did you find out about him, about Benkert, that I think he chose the phrase, that drive could have gone to crap, and it didn't. What did you find out about him on that drive?
Yeah, there was a lot of adversity on that drive because I want to say we had the penalties on that drive as well. And, it's hard a lot of times when you get called for holding, whether it's, I kind of question that one holding call on Lucas Patrick, but it is what it is. And our guys' ability to just, overcome that adversity, I thought was big time. And then certainly there's a lot of plays that happen that it's not necessarily how you draw it up, but again, it's how you respond to whatever happens out there and have that kind of one play at a time mindset, which I think our guys demonstrated that tonight.
I think TJ Slayton's giving you, he really did a nice job on the run last week, gets a sack today, showing some upfield run.
Yeah, TJ's a really talented player, and he's a young player. He's got a lot to learn. I think it's just going to come down to how consistent can he be. When he plays with great technique and fundamentals, he's pretty darn good. The talent's there, but it's got to be down in and down out, and it's got to happen every day in practice. And I know that's part of the learning curve, but how fast can you, consistently perform and do your job and execute with the proper technique it's going to determine how much he plays for us this year.
Hey Matt, if it wasn't my 25th year here, I'd say maybe your fans are in preseason form, but they continue to do the wave when you guys are on offense. You gonna put something up on the scoreboard, or what are you gonna do?
Yeah, we're going to have some talks with some people in our building about how we can help educate our fans in certain situations. But I love our fans first and foremost. I think we have the best fans in the National Football League. The support they show is when we're home, when we're on the road, is second to none. So I always want to start out with that before I become critical of them. But certainly, you know, when you're on offense and it's a third down situation, I'd rather not hear the "Go Pack Go" chant. And when we're on offense, I'd rather not see the wave. I'd rather see that when we're on defense. But no, we listen. We love our fans, but we definitely will try to get some more instruction coming from, hopefully from some of our players will volunteer to go up on the big board and give instructions.
What think of delivering a coaching video and putting it out on Twitter or something for the team?
That could be, that's a great idea, Dave. I don't know.
What's caught your attention about Kylan Hill in his first two preseason games?
Yeah, Kylan's a really talented player. You guys can see that. He's got really good explosiveness. He can stick his foot in the ground and make the cuts. Again, young player that continues to develop and improve every day. You know, it's just going to be how fast can we get him to be really consistent. I think the game certainly isn't too big for him. So he's a young guy that we're really excited about. And I think there's a lot of competition in that running back room for carries. You got, you know, with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, then you got Kylan, Patrick, and Dexter. Those are 5 backs that we feel pretty good about.
Matt, I don't know much about the quarterback depth play across the league, but it seems to be lacking in some places. With 2 weeks from Kurt, is he a guy that can stick on a 53-man roster, whether that's here or elsewhere?
Yeah, I think Kurt has done a really nice job and definitely going to make it tough on us to decide which way we want to go.
The rest 32 players, how much do you work with Amy on that? And how much of that is driven by a three-game season to get, you know, the snaps have gone way up these first 2 games for some of those younger guys?
Well, certainly we rested more players than we would have liked to. I mean, there was a lot of guys that we wanted to get out there, and, you know, we're never going to put a guy in a situation that could potentially make it worse for them. You know, we got a lot of trust in our medical staff here that they're going to do right by the players, and which ultimately does right by the team long term. And although we want to get them out there, and I know those guys are itching to get out there too. So, but you know, the guys that we really know that have had a lot of experience in this league, I just think that it's just, you got to weigh the risk versus the reward of getting them out there. And there's a lot of guys in that locker room that we have a lot of confidence in, and we know really well in all 3 phases, and just don't feel like it's worth that risk. I mean, you can see it happened again in this football game. You know, they lost another guy, Jared Davis. I mean, that's a big loss. He's a really good linebacker in this league, and so you kind of try to weigh it each and every week. But then there's guys that have played for us that, you know, it was good to see Kiki out there again today, and for the guys that we feel like that need to continue to get some reps, we're going to put them out there. You know, A.J. Dillon, we feel like we know him pretty well. Lucas Patrick started a lot of games for us, so you kind of treat each individual on a case-by-case basis, and certainly in some of the spots where we have guys competing to be a starter, then they're going to probably have to go out there and play.
Matt, any parting shots you care to share with Robert and your brother about the week that was, and, you know, having them here and getting locked down?
Yeah, no, it was great. It's always great to see people that you really care about, and certainly I know it was definitely a rough week on the Jets. Anytime they lost a lot of guys, and you never want to see that, no matter who it is in this league. I mean, all these guys. There certainly is a brotherhood and a bond for all these players across the league. And you know, having gone through an Achilles injury myself, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And certainly, it's hard to replace some of those guys that they've lost. So that was tough. But I thought those guys, you know, I've got a lot of faith in them as coaches to get the most out of their guys, number one, and I thought the team overall competed really well, and there was a lot of good work. So I thought it was a productive week, and you know, but I'm always, you know, we'll always wish those guys the absolute best, because those are 2 of the guys that I care about more than anybody in this world.
Matt, what's the plan for Jordan this week and then go to Buffalo for the finale?
Well, we're gonna continue. It's gonna be day by day where he's at. Certainly, we would have loved for him to play in this game, but you know, it's just one of those things where he wasn't cleared, and it is what it is. So hopefully, we can get him back out there this week, and we'll let him go versus Buffalo.
Just to clarify what you said about, I think it was Ryan's question about Kurt, when you said what decision to make, is that just whether you keep 2 or 3, or is this like a competition for the 2 job?
No, I think it's more or less whether we keep 2 or 3. Certainly, Jordan, I think, has done a really nice job, and but you know, you're always competing. But certainly, I think I would say if we ever got into a situation, Jordan's definitely the number 2.
Matt, does the second straight week with a long return? I understand you don't have your main guys on teams, but with that, what J.K. did last year, kind of up and down the punt he had today, are special teams a concern in your mind for this year?
I think everything's a concern at this point. There's a lot of nothing's really proven it, until you get to the regular season. But we have to do a better job on our coverage units. Our guys, our coaches know that. Mo will be the first one to tell you that. But our guys got to do a better job of doing their jobs too. And so when you get guys that all it takes is one guy not doing his job, and then that's what happens. And I'm not saying it was just one person on that particular play. It was multiple people. And all you got to do, you just can't allow that to happen. I do think, however, there were some nice moments on teams as well. We got a big return out of Reggie Beggleton. We got a big return out of Dexter Williams. I thought J.K. had 2 nice punts, but you have to be consistent. We know that, and we know the talent's there. He's got to consistently go out there and do it. Christian Uphoff had a great play on that last punt there, knocking down two guys and making a tackle on Berrios. And so I thought there were some good moments, but again, it comes down to consistency.
Matt, how valuable was it to see Eric Stokes get one-on-one matchup with Corey Davis on those couple plays on the first drive?
Yeah, it was really good. I think the first third down, Corey got the best of it, and then the next third down, Stokes got the best of it. So that's life in this league. And Corey's a guy that I know really well. I'm being with him in Tennessee, and I think he's one of the better receivers in this league. And when you're going against a guy like that, you got to be perfect. And he did a really nice job. So in practice earlier this week, they ran a speed cut out of the same look, and he ran an out cut, and Stokes got beat on that. And I think they showed the same route stem, and this is always good for any corner, but particularly our young corner like Stokes is. Gave him the same route stem, and at the top of his drop, kind of doubled him up and broke inside, and I think Stokes definitely thought it was the out cut.
Coach, you've mentioned, and Aaron even mentioned it, that there are still jobs to be won on the offensive line. What improvement did you see from them from last game to this game?
Well, I mean, you could start right with the running game. We were able to go out there and run the football, I thought, especially in the first half, pretty effectively. And I thought, by and large, the pass protection was pretty solid. There were some situations where we were in our scat protection, which is our 5-man protection, where the defense was showing double-A looks, and they do a really good job of disguising. It's a really good package, and there were a couple spots where we were actually hot, but Kurt did a good job of getting out of the pocket and capturing the edge. But so that's not all on them. But I just thought overall it was much improved.
Do one more here.
Matt, you were obviously very clear. Jordan's the 2. Benkert came in here, he said, I understand my role, I'm the 3. If you can't get Jordan back this week and you can't get him more game experience, though Benkert's been in the league for a while and Jordan didn't even have any game experience last year, do you have to at least consider going a different way in the short term behind Aaron if something were to happen in an opening game?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a hypothetical right now, so I don't foresee it going a different way. If a guy's healthy, we're gonna give him that opportunity, as long as we feel like he can go out there and perform, because ultimately, you're always gonna put the person that you feel like gives you the best chance to win. And, so we're always competing. I don't wanna ever, anoint somebody. We're always in constant competition, but I think Jordan's done enough throughout practices where we feel comfortable where he would be the two.
All right, let's go to Zoom. Sarah, go ahead.
Yep, there's three in here. We'll start with Aaron Egley.
Coach, on the touchdown, kind of in the first half where it looked like your defense was completely discombobulated, pre-snap, guys yelling at each other, didn't know where to line up, etc. I understand you're playing a lot of young guys, a lot of experienced guys. What kind of value do you get out of that? I understand having to seat 32 guys down because of fear of injury or guys who are dealing with injury. But, as a coach, what value are you getting out of plays where it's clear that nobody knows what they're doing?
Yeah, that's definitely disappointing when you get in a situation where you got guys running around like that. That can't happen, and we got to get that cleaned up. But I do think there's so much value. I think a lot of us, whether it's in the game of football or in life, you're going to learn more from your failures than you are your successes. So I think for all those young guys to go out there and whether it's good or bad, I think there's always a ton of value in getting those reps. And certainly this preseason has given us just so many opportunities to watch some of these young guys compete, whether it's, I don't really care who they're playing against, but the fact that it was against the majority of the Jets ones, I thought there's a ton of value in that.
Steve Doherty.
Matt, I know going into the season, you knew you were going to have one rookie starting on the offensive line. I was wondering what you think of the prospects of actually having two doing it, and did you get any feel for your yard play today against put the number one offense?
Yeah, again, as cliche as it sounds, we're trying to find the best five. So that's just how it is. But whether it's a rookie, a first-year player, it really doesn't matter. We've got to find the best combination for those guys to go out there and give our offense a chance at moving the football. So, I thought there was a lot of good. We'll go back and look at the tape. I think I'll have a better understanding of where we are after I sit down and as a staff we watch the film, and we still have a few weeks left for these guys to continue to compete, not only in practice, but there's another preseason game that's going to give us much more insight into what direction we need to go.
Can I ask a quick follow-up?
Sure.
On the two plays where Benkert tripped, was that more on Newman, you think?
I have to go back and watch the tape. We have high standards for our quarterbacks, and certainly just gut feeling is that he needs to make sure he's getting out from under center. So, but until you go back and watch the tape, it's really hard to tell in the moment, because it's not like my eyes are on his feet, when a play's going on. My eyes are on the defense and seeing how they're reacting, or where I know the point of attack is going to be. So it's kind of unfair for me to even make too much of a judgment on that right now.
Hey, man, what were the technical things you think you improved on with your run game compared to last year, or last week, I'm sorry?
Well, you could tell, like, there wasn't nearly as much penetration, guys whiffing on blocks. We were covering them up pretty well. We were able to press the line of scrimmage, and that's why it was much more productive.
And last one, Darius Joshua.
Hey, Coach, just a follow-up about your brother, if I may. I'm sure you would have liked to have beaten him today, but just how special was it to have him here after extended families here to kind of see it and just have you both, living out your dreams?
Yeah, no, it was really special, and it was fun at the end of the game. I'm yelling over, telling him to run the football. And of course, we load the box up, and they just get stuffed. So he's looking at me with some bad body language, palms up, like, come on, man. But no, it was a lot of fun. It's always special. He is, we're so close. he's my only sibling, so he's a guy that I talk to on a regular basis, and it's always a special time anytime we can all get together as a family, because those, especially in the season, those opportunities are few and far between. And it certainly is much better facing him in a game that doesn't quite mean as much as like an NFC Championship game, because that was brutal. But no, it was a lot of fun, not only to see him, but watch him coach and watch him lead their offense, both in practice and then watching him out there today. And I thought it was interesting when you take the play calling, just how much more you can observe during the game. And I was taking a lot of notes, both, on both sides of the ball, things that we could do better and things that I thought that potentially their offense could do better. So we'll sit down and we'll share those, because ultimately I want him to have as much success as we've been able to accomplish here.